All right, what's going on, Chain Gang? How we doing tonight? I am awfully close to finishing up this cube. May even be able to get it done tonight. We'll see how much work goes into it. I did start with the bronze and stainless cube earlier today, and as I was working, I quickly realized that I was going to run out of rings on that one. So here I am. That's the end result. It's where I'm stuck until I get more bronze rings in. I'm 2.5 layers off, basically. So needs more bronze. I've already ordered it. Should be on the way tomorrow. Hopefully it won't take very long to get in. The customer is anxiously awaiting their cube. Excuse me. So, in the meantime, we'll knock this moderately sized jelly cube out, and I've got some housekeeping stuff I have to do. Probably a couple days worth, little projects. I don't know if anyone was here when I was working on this cube over here. All the black and stainless rings were out of round. I have some left that I want to fix. How much would a cube like this one cost? About $5 grand. Or you can make it yourself. I can show you. How you doing, Ray? So I've got to straighten out all those black and stainless rings, all the rest of them. There's not many left. We used up most of them on this giant cube over here, right? Justin, how you doing? And what else have I got to do? I got to finish, like I've finished the Finnegan's Wake inlay. It's done, right? But there is some, I got to switch up some rings. I need to add one more row to the loops that go across the top. And in order to do that, I have to add some of the yellow rings, and we're just swapping rings out, and it's fine. Thanks for the follow, appreciate you. And then I got this dice bag here and a bracelet I need to make functional. Those are just little things I have laying around right in front of me that I can finish up relatively quickly before we start our next big project. Which, for those of you not in the know, thanks for the follow, appreciate you, is going to be the toolkit on my Road King. I've got the saddlebags done. I need to do the toolkit and a gas tank bib. And then who knows what else after that. So, but before we get to the toolkit, I want to finish up a few little things laying here in front of me. I got this dice bag that there's some rings inside here I want to add to it. And this bracelet. Right? It's a cool bracelet. I like it. I don't like having this clasp attached. I don't like the way that is. So I'm going to make more of these little links here and make it a kind of a bangle style, similar to this bracelet here. Right? There's no clasp on this one. It just slides over my wrist. So I've got to do that. Lots of good stuff to do. Excuse me. So today, I had a pretty good day. How about you guys? So I got up, I got down here, got a little bit of work done, realized I was going to run out of rings on the bronze and stainless cube. This one. And got those ordered. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Then I went and I mowed the lawn. And it's the last time I'm going to mow the lawn this year, whether or not it needs it or not. So, I'm done. I quit. And I've just been exhausted the rest of the day. So, I wasn't sure I was going to stream tonight, but I had some dinner and I felt a little better. And I hopped on the motorcycle. Last night we had the neighbors over, and I took the neighbor girl in a ride in my father-in-law's Corvette, just around the block. It was fun. She's into cars, so she had a blast. And I was going to start my motorcycle, but I couldn't get it to start. I didn't know what was wrong. And then tonight I had to move it out of the way so we could put some light bulbs in the light in the ceiling of the garage. And as I moved it, the alarm lights were going off. So I was like, all right, well, it has power. What is going on? I realized that I had some, they're not watch batteries, but whatever kind of batteries these little flat ones are, right? Had some of these. I was like, I'll bet that the key fob battery is dead. So I changed that out, and the bike started right up just fine. Took it around the block. I did not get any good rides in this year. I've been way too busy. So that was unfortunate. It was very dusty and cobwebby. So I need to, sometime before next weekend, while it's all nice out, right, knock on wood, I need to get it out of the garage and dust it off and then put it back in the garage and cover it up until riding season next year, where hopefully I'll be done with the wrapping the toolkit and chainmail and the motorcycle or the gas tank bib. And ideally I would like to have the rest of the artwork done on the bike. We will see how that happens. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all of it done. So if we can't get the artwork done this year, we'll do it next fall. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I have until December to figure out if I'm going to be able to take the bike to the shop, have them take the front and rear fender and the gas tank off, drive it to the individual who's going to hydro dip it for me, drop it off, drive back to Wisconsin, go back a week later, pick it up, and have the parts all reinstalled on the bike. I'm hoping I can get that done before May of next year. We'll see what happens. But it should be fun. It'll be a cool project once it's finished. And if I get it done this winter, then that means next fall, after riding season, I can focus on adding some performance parts to the bike. So not only will it be a cool looking machine, but it'll also be fast. And it's a Road King. They top out at 100 miles an hour. And I know what you're thinking. Who needs to go more than 100 miles an hour on a motorcycle? You got to be nuts. And you're right. Is it a bad idea? Yes. Am I going to do it anyway? Funds allowing, yeah. We'll see what happens. I've got this is technically the third week of the new job, so I'll get my first paycheck from my new job this week, the end of this week, something like that. And I'm working with my preceptor this week, so a lot of just following another nurse around. It's a good time. So I'll spend my time learning their charting system and how to do all that fun stuff. And then once I learn the system, I don't get to be let out on my own until January. It's like a 90-day orientation period. They really want you to know their stuff. So, got to get it done. But other than that, that's what's going on in my life. Hopefully no more hospital visits in the future. I had one last week and I'm good. I'm good for a while. I don't like going to hospitals, even though I am a healthcare provider. Excuse me. You should really try to stay out of the hospital. Keep yourselves healthy. You know, all the fun stuff in life, just stop doing it. And exercise and get good sleep. Who has time for that? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. It was unseasonably warm day out today. It was like 81 or something. And we have a plethora of these little Japanese beetles that look like ladybugs. And then, what are the other ones called? Box elder bugs. They were all over the back of the house as I was mowing the lawn. And it's nice and, warm, so we had the windows open, and now I got one flying around here somewhere. I don't know where he went. Lantern flies? Yeah. How you doing, Justin? Is that what they're called? The Japanese beetle ones? That look like ladybugs? You want to make anti-entity chainmail suit like from Mad Max? There you go. They're called lantern flies, huh? I did not know that. But you could fill books with stuff I don't know. In fact, they have. I'm making a chainmail cube. Usually when people tag me or someone in the comments, it's because it's a bot. But usually they just tag someone. So user 363-1209-38923. If you are a real person, say so, and I won't mute you. You wish you could make chainmail. You want to make a chainmail PS5? Of all the things I've seen requested. Okay. So, Antis. What is this username? Antis, baby. Huh. Okay. Yeah. You should definitely try and make the chainmail from Mad Max. So, like, you just want to cover your PS5 in chainmail? I'm assuming? Because that's doable. You could figure that out. Some European 4-in-1 with a EPDM half Persian 3-in-1 border. And EPDM is like a stretchy rubber ring. Kind of like a Witcher style. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm going to go ahead and say that it can be done. I have a PS5. Knowing what I know about it, you could do it. You can make it removable too. That's how I would do it. I have added chainmail to a lot of stuff. Not everything, certainly. I'm trying to think here. I don't have anything in reach. that I've added chainmail to. But I've got like coffee cups and wine bottles and Christmas decorations. They're all covered in chainmail. So here, if I were to wrap a PS5, here's how I would go about doing it. For starters, I'd spray paint the cover black. Take the cover off and paint it black. Then I'd order some of the EPDM rings. I don't know what size, I'd have to think about it. But probably something like 16 gauge, 1/4 inch. And I would make a sheet of chainmail the size of the PlayStation cover. Now, are we talking laying on its side? That's how I'm thinking. I'd do it a bit differently. I'd make it like a sleeve that could just go down over the top if you're standing your PS5 up. How much to eat the cube? $5,000. Like, once you pay me that amount of money, you can do whatever you want with the cube. How you doing, Max? So, but if the PS5 is laying on its side, spray paint the cover black, and then make a sheet of European 4-in-1 out of, I'd probably use some anodized aluminum. You could do like a logo inlay in your chainmail. That'd be cool. It says PS5. How much for me to eat it? Well, I think the price we came to was about $8 million. It's going to cost $8 million for my dignity and for me to destroy this cube that I've made. So I think that's a fair price. What about the bigger one in the background? I don't even know. That's all stainless steel. It's like after the first few bites, I'd just be gumming everything down. Such a weird hypothetical. Don't ask me what it'll cost unless you got the money. At one point in time, the Allspark was the cube. That's right. Yeah, I didn't even make the connection when I started on this large cube project over here to my right. This one, right? People are like, oh, it's a Tesseract. It's the Allspark. I don't know what other famous cubes there are out there. It's the Borg. That's a cube shape, right? How much does the big one weigh? It weighs 31 or 32 pounds. I don't have a scale big enough to weigh it. My little kitchen scale taps out at like 5 pounds. You could probably put RGB lights in the middle. Had I thought about lighting prior to making the cube, I would have designed it around some kind of light display. But thinking about adding lights didn't come until I was very far into the project. And thinking about how to display it came after thinking about adding lights. So, like, it's done, it's there. I'm still working on the display for it. Am I making other shapes in the cube? Not right now. I've not had the rings or the time to experiment with other shapes. I've seen other people try to make spheres or pyramids, and it kind of works. And you can make other shapes with different chainmail weaves. I'm just making cubes with this ring size because that is what the rings were sized for. You want to play with it? Jim, how you doing? You should want to play with it. They're fun. Yeah, come on. It's like, this should end, this is over 3.5 pounds right now. It should be like 3.8 pounds when it's done. Right? Howdy, how you doing? I'm hi, how are you? No. It's hi, how are you? Isn't that the line? How it's I screwed it up. How high are you? No, Gandalf, it's hi, how are you? That's what it is. Yeah, what I said. You should have seen my beard last year. It was I had the full if you go back and watch some of my older videos on TikTok, you'll see I had a full beard. And you know, I've kind of satisfied that urge to have a long beard. Thank you for the dinos. Appreciate you. How long did that cube take you? I'm somewhere around 120 hours so far. It was only supposed to take me mathematically 92 hours. But for some reason, I just went really slow on this one. And it's taken me a lot longer than I expected. But also, I was working on 2 cubes at the same time. So, they're kind of, like, I expect to have more work done. And every time I turn around, they're not as far along as I had thought. When are you making your beard out of the rings? There we go. That's funny. I should totally do that. My friend, the Wood Veteran on TikTok, has a beard made of wood shavings. I should make a beard out of rings. That'd be funny. How can you tell where you're at on the cube? Okay, so you kind of see this line right here. Once you know the weave, where am I at? I'm right there. Right? So there's this ring, and then there's a ring missing right here that goes in between these 2 rings. Right, and I need to fill the rest of this in. So you got this nice line and then empty space. So, and it takes practice. It does. I get screwed up whenever I start a new weave or I'm learning a new weave. I get lost all the time. Chainmail block. Can you put these in oil? I don't know why I was sitting on that cube to feel fantastic. Julie, how you doing? Good to see you. Oh, word. So it's basically you're just that good. I'm just that good at this, right? But let's take, there's a weave called Moorish Rose. I've tried to make it. I tried learning it. And I got lost like crazy. So... Monkey Tamer, yes, you can put these in oil. Nothing will happen to them. You're doing great. A ring scarf. There was a ring scarf made by a shop called Blue Buddha Boutique, and I forget the owner's name. Nice lady. Really does really good chainmail work. And she used to have a shop in Chicago. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. They might hold some oil surface tension of the voids and all that. Yeah, they might. But if you were to, I don't know, toss this in a jar full of mineral oil, it would be fine. It's not going to break down or anything. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. But yeah, Blue Buddha Boutique made a really nice scarf out of huge rings, and it looked really cool. Not practical. Very much a fashion thing. You feel like getting smacked by an oily cube would be the worst? Yeah, me too. It's like, this is aluminum, okay? And it's going to be 3.8 pounds when it's done, right? 3.79, something like that. And if you were to get smacked with this, it's, you know, it's not going to feel good. The splatter. Yeah. It might not leave a bruise, but it's not going to be fun. Like, you know, here. Just, I don't know, protect your ears. That didn't sound too loud, but you could definitely hear the thud as it hit. Do I sell jewelry? I do. Normally, I would tell you to contact me on Instagram. I have some bracelets for sale, and I don't know what else, to be honest. It's all over there. But I'll give you an example. That was underwhelming. I shook the whole desk. Like, I have some of these, the 2 strands of Byzantine with the stainless steel beads on them, and they've got a buckle clasp. I've got some that have just this center bead, different ones, not just the. I think I only have one skull and crossbones left, and then I have a few kind of random ones, different weaves, and show some other stuff I've made. Well, I can grab the jewelry since people are asking. It looks like a bunch of little kids have been going through my stuff. So here's a pile. But I have... What's that doing? So just the single center bead on there with the buckle clasp. I've got a lot of skulls. All right. There's a ship. What do we got? We got some Mjolnirs on a single strand bracelet. And then, ooh, here's a center bead with a bunch of skulls on it. Then we have some kind of random different weaves used to make jewelry. Keep this stuff separate. A lot of stuff like that, basically. Super nice work. Thank you. And thanks for the follow. Then I've got like coffee cup wraps and bottle wraps. How do you make those weird patterns with the rings? Okay, so you have to have the right ring size for many of the weaves. And you have to learn the weave, basically. There are a lot of tutorials available for different weaves, different ways to weave rings. And essentially, I've just spent the last 28 years learning a bunch of them. This is basically how I've done it at this point. Oh, I did grab a dice bag here. There's one of my dice bags. Cinches up. I don't know. Let's see here. What is that doing? Get out of here. I don't know how many dice it holds, but holds a decent amount. How much time daily do you spend on the cube? Lately it's just been like weekends and evenings. So I do have to stop and go do family time stuff. So 2 hours a night. And then I was able to get several hours in today because I started working on this stuff early this morning. It used to be that when I wasn't working, and over the summer, I'd get down here fairly early, work till about lunchtime, go have lunch with the family, take a nap, and then come back down here and be working the rest of the day. So I'd put in 8 to 12 hours when I was making this cube over here. 8 to 12 hours a day. I have other cubes. None of them are as nice. They're all kind of, what do you call it? Experiments to see if I had the right ring size. Some of them were I was just using up rings. I do have a brass and bronze cube. It's 2 cubes mushed together. I can grab that real quick if you want to see those. Let me put these back. So basically what happened is, like, I would just had leftover rings. I made a little cube out of it. That's all I had enough rings to do with. This is a titanium cube. It's pretty solid. It's not jiggly at all. And then same with these. So I had the extra rings. They were, you can see on both of these, there's the edges are doubled up, some in the middle here are doubled up, and they're almost cube shaped. They're really wiggly. They're very sloppy, right? So, yeah, you know, they kind of worked out. And then this is the brass and bronze cubes that are linked together. Right, you can see the bronze down there and the brass in there. And this was, I'd like to do like multiples of these. I'll have to order a bunch of rings one day and do that project. Do it in a color gradient. How do you even do that? I don't know. What some of this is from, like this titanium cube, I wanted to use up the rings. They were anodized rings from the Ring Lord, and whenever you opened them up, like a third of the ring would, the color would come off, and so I could not make earrings with them the way I wanted, right? So I tumbled them until most of the color was off, and I didn't have any other use for them, so I made a cube out of them. And these are all doubled up, right? This is 8-in-2 cube instead of a 4-in-1. And so I had to do something with the rings. I made a cube out of it. These ones were, I don't know what project these were left over from. But the wire used to make these is square, right? It gives it a nice, I don't know, cool affect. Once again, not really suitable for a cube, but it kind of worked out. And it's just having excess rings on hand and a desire to make them into something so that they're not sitting around taking up space, which is a lot of what I've been doing. So I got a whole backlog of projects that need to be finished, improved, or made into something else. And thanks for sharing the stream. Appreciate it. And for the follow. Thank you. So you just weave them all one ring at a time. And then you learn a new weave and you figure out what you want to do with it and you make something out of it. Oh. So I've got a project in addition to all the projects that either need to be finished, improved, or turned into something else. I've got this like 9 or 10 feet of full Persian chain, right? And I want to make something out of it, but I don't want to use all stainless steel, so I ordered some copper today. And when that arrives, hopefully it'll be the right size and I can use it for what I need. And we'll combine the two metals into something really cool. So I just, how much money did it cost to take the big cube in the background? I think the total cost, not including the display, was about $1,300. And then for the failed display that I've done, it's been an additional $100. And I've got to order some more parts. So display and cube all told will probably run me around $1,500. And then it took me about 3 months, I think, was the total time, working on it pretty much every day, 8 to 12 hours a day. So there's over 40,000 rings in that cube. I think the total count was over 42,000. Wouldn't copper be too soft to combine with stainless steel? So completely depends on what you're using it for, right? This will be a sculptural application, and nobody's going to be wearing it or anything. It should just be sitting there looking pretty and patinaing. Is that a word? Developing a patina. But I probably wouldn't use copper and steel in a shirt of armor, right? Unless I used copper around the edge or something for decoration. So, but yeah, copper's soft, and using it is, I've never worked with it before. I'm told it's similar to brass and bronze. It's not as difficult to work with as, say, stainless steel. But what I'm going to be using it for, it's just going to be sitting there, so providing a color contrast and looking pretty, basically, if I can get my idea to work. We might not, and I might have wasted however much I spent. I think I only bought an ounce, or I only bought one bag. So it's a test to see if it'll work for my intended purposes. We'll find out together whenever I get to that project. But I had to order some more bronze rings for my other cube here. And I was like, let me grab some copper rings while I'm at it. Yes, and aluminum rings are like copper, really soft. Well, these are aluminum rings in this cube right here, right? So, if a lot of it is dependent on the wire gauge and the inner diameter of the ring, right? If I use this wire gauge to make a ring 1/2 inch wide, it would be super flimsy. But since it's only 11/64 of an inch wide, it's very sturdy. Thanks for sharing the stream. Appreciate you. So it's all relative, you know, to the diameter of the wire and the inner diameter of the ring itself, right? It has a lot to do with how strong it is. Now, aluminum and copper and brass, bronze, and copper are all pretty easy to work with. They're easy on your hands. Or brass, bronze, and aluminum are all easy to work with, easy on your hands. I don't know about copper because I've never worked with it, so I'm hoping to make the stainless and copper piece and then have it develop a patina over time. And we'll see what happens. Excuse me. It's not a piece that's going to end up being for sale. It will just be part of my personal collection. And the reason for that is because it's made from machine cut rings. I like to use saw cut rings for my professional stuff. How close are you to finishing the cube? I've got these two sections here, so maybe tonight. We'll see how fast I can work. I'm within 2 hours or so, give or take. And then this one will be done. Good to know you have a bunch of different size rings you make cross with. Spin your wire, but you spin your wire, but I'm assuming you mean you coil it yourself by spinning. But you get rough edges when they're cut, yeah. That's that was my experience when coiling and cutting my own rings, and a large part of why I don't do that anymore. I am going to invest in a setup to saw cut all my rings, and I have a tumbler already, and that should reduce, you know, any burrs or sharp edges for the most part. And if you're hand cutting your rings, you can throw them in a tumbler, and that'll help with those rough edges. I like to use, whenever I have burrs or really sharp pointy rings, I like to throw them into the tumbler with some ceramic media. And it tends to deburr them pretty easily. A lot of people will say that you just need to throw the rings in with more rings, and that works. But I find that the ceramic media works better. I had a bunch of titanium rings with burrs on them, and I tumbled and tumbled and tumbled them, and they did not, the burrs did not go away until I threw in some ceramic media. But that beats the color of. If you're using anodized aluminum or any anodized ring, right? Aluminum, titanium, or niobium, then yeah, the color will come off if you tumble them for too long. I wouldn't tumble anodized in anything other than some soap and water and other anodized rings, and I wouldn't do it for more than 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most, because you can clean them up and you can put a little shine on them, you know, but if you tumble them for too long, that color will come off, absolutely. But as far as your base metals, like your stainless steel, brass, bronze, copper, silver, gold, you know, you can tumble those all day. They're not really going to change color unless your water is dirty or you didn't do enough water changes. You're very welcome. How many rings do I have? In finished products, I probably have about 200,000 rings over on my window ledge. Not even counting this. So that's 240. plus this, 260. And then in however many rings I have left over laying around, probably another 50,000 rings, maybe. Maybe. I've worked through a lot of it. A lot of stuff is done. But things like my guitar straps, right? This is one of the projects that has to be improved upon, right? It's a guitar strap, and it's a metal guitar strap, and my leather work when I first made these was garbage. Okay, this is garbage. This was a terrible idea, and I never put these up for sale anywhere. I've just held on to them for forever. And I was at Tandy Leather the other day, and they had a leather guitar strap, and I was like, I could add my chainmail to the top of that. That way the guitar is protected from the metal, and you still have an awesome chainmail guitar strap, right? Just with a leather underneath it and to adjust it, right? So I've got, I don't know, half a dozen guitar straps, maybe more, to do that with. How long ago did I don't know, maybe a decade. No, actually, no. It's got to be older than that because it was while I was in Texas. So that was a decade ago now, almost. So anywhere between 10 and 15 years ago, I'm going to go with. So long time to have projects sitting around, but I've had projects sitting around for longer because I didn't know what to do with them, or I didn't have the time to fix them, or, you know, whatever reason. I was working, I was going to school, I was raising a kid. And then for the last 2.5 years, I've just been doing this. So I was able to get a lot done. I'm not as far along as I'd hoped, but I keep getting interrupted. Like, this was a project that came this past year. Most of this was a project that came in the past year, right? So I would have a whole bunch of other stuff done if I didn't keep interrupting myself with different projects. So I'm trying to avoid doing that, and I'm trying to be disciplined and finish up all this old stuff laying around, make it into something that can either be sold or will go on my windowsill, my window ledge, where I have a bunch of other finished stuff. And then one day, I will either wholesale it to another chainmail artist or take up a vendor position somewhere and put everything up for sale and start doing that. But I just started a new job, so it's going to be at least 5 years before I do that. Before I retire and go back to doing this full time. What project? This is cool. Thanks, Night Squirrel. How you doing? What project am I most proud of? Let's see here. So I've never come up with my own weave, right? I've experimented with weaves, and you know what? Okay. The project that I am most proud of is probably my motorcycle vest, right? That is it's a leather vest, a regular leather motorcycle vest with chainmail over the top. And it came out really good. It's not overly complicated. It's just a Japanese 12-2. I'm good. So what's the new career? I'm an RN. I'm a home health nurse. Eyebrow lift. What does that mean? But if you want to see my motorcycle vest, I can grab it real quick. Too bad, I'm going to show you anyway, even if you don't want to see it. Projects I'm proud of. Let's see here. This is a good one. Hang on, let me put my extender chains on because I'm fat. Alright, there you go. It's all covered in chainmail. You got chains up the side, right in there. Got pockets, and it's all, let's see how close I can get. It's all connected with this leather cord going all the way around of the edge. All the way around the edge. It's a Harley Davidson brand. It was expensive, and then I ruined it by adding chainmail to it. She's very upset with me. She'll never let me live that one down. I made it better. When your motorcycle isn't heavy enough. Well, I just ended Rivers End Millworks, thank you. I just say what does a Road King weigh? 800 pounds? I just added, I don't know, probably 10 pounds of chainmail to the saddlebags. And I'm doing the motorcycle, or the toolkit. I'll be wrapping that in chainmail and then putting chainmail on and leather. I'll be making a chainmail and leather gas tank bib. I did make it better. Thanks, babe. Crazy stuff. How long did it take to make? This vest took me the better part of 3 years. And that wasn't like me working on it all the time. The last piece to be finished up was the pockets. I just had the chainmail laying over the top for a long time, and then it wasn't connected in the back on the bottom for a long time because I didn't want to do it. You'll follow me if you show the bike. The bike's upstairs. You're a Hayabusa fanboy, and those are 598 pounds, yeah. There are videos of my motorcycle on my TikTok page, Mr. Viral. But I've got TikTok here and then 4 other streams here. And I can't take my laptop, I can't take my laptop upstairs because then I won't have any service. But there are videos of my bike on TikTok. And I'll be making more as I get each chainmail project done. I want to take more videos of the saddlebags because I really think that I did not get the right audience when I first made those. You're no small person, 6'4", 312? Yeah. A Busa's a big bike, so I look small on my bike. How do you get different colors on the vest? So the black rings up here are just black and stainless, and then this is just regular stainless. Kind of like this. So I ordered the rings this way, right? And the manufacturers provide the color. My understanding is that they heat up a bunch of oil and dip the rings in them, kind of cook them a little bit, because there is a lot of grease and oil on the black and stainless rings when you first get them. Helps to clean them off a little bit. So, and I would have done, had I been thinking, I would have, and I might still do it, I might take part of the vest apart and do an inlay between the two colors. A picture of something instead of just a stripe, but I don't know. Figure that out later on in life. Not something I'm worried about right now. I'm just glad I have the vest on. What took me the longest to make? My Finnegan's Wake inlay. I started that back in 2005, 2006, and just finished it up earlier this year. You got to make a chainmail bracelet when you're at an SEA event. It was fun. Right on. How heavy is the vest? Probably around 10 pounds. Maybe more. I don't have a scale, so I've never weighed it. But it kind of, you know, it wears like a vest. It's the most comfortable piece of clothing I've done. So I can wear it for several hours while out riding and not notice. What I can't do is ride across country without like serious warming up my back, because my back will seize up while I'm on the bike and it's not comfortable. So I gotta stop, take a breather, take off the vest, and get my back to relax. But other than that, if I'm just out riding for the day, I'm fine. It's been about 3 years since you made anything, but you've made chainmail before. Have you ever anodized your metal? No. I am in the market for a power supply so that I can anodize things like this titanium cube. We'll make it a pretty color, and then it'll be done. And in the future, when I'm coiling and cutting all my rings, or most of my rings here at the house, I will have the power supply to anodize the titanium. But I don't ever want to do anodized aluminum near my home. It's an electrochemical process, and you've got like acids and dyes that you gotta have on hand. I just don't want to store those while trying to fumble my way through getting a specific color on a ring. How long did it take you to make the glasses that I'm wearing? You did chainmail for about 11 years? Right on. The glasses, if you want that story, all right. I go to the VA for my healthcare, and so I had a pair of glasses. They were fine for the most part, but the prescription was getting a little old, and I needed to have my eyes checked, just your annual eye check. And I went, and they got me a new prescription. Got me some new glasses. Told me to come back in and pick them up, and the focus was right here in front of my eye and about 6 feet out in front of me. So with the new lenses, so I could not. I had no. The depth perception was just very skewed, right? So I went and saw another optometrist and got a second pair of glasses, or second pair of lenses, and same thing. The depth perception was still off. And finally, by the third, and I wore the glasses. They're like, just wear them. Your eyes will get used to them. I mean, I wore them for days, and my eyes did not adjust, right? So finally, the third attempt at getting eyeglasses, and 7 or 8 trips to the VA hospital, which is 40 minutes away. I finally got some glasses that'll work, and I need to go back and get some new ones. So that's a fascinating story about VA healthcare and my experience getting new glasses. So it took several weeks. So Rivers End Millworks, what kind of stuff did you make with the chainmail that you made? Excuse me. So I'm in several chainmail groups, and everyone makes something different. If you give 2 people the same ring size, they will come back with 2 different projects. And if you tell people what to make, like if you gave instructions on, 2 people to make a necklace, they would come back with 2 very different necklaces. And it's always very fun to see what people come up with. There's no Okay, so there are people who are novices. They have a tendency to kind of make the same thing over and over and over again, and I remember doing that when I first started. Right? But everybody usually takes off and develops their own kind of style. And it's all unique and different and awesome, and I love it. Thanks for the likes, I appreciate it. I see those hearts. If you're tapping the screen and sharing the live, I appreciate you. So, you asked what I was most proud of, and this vest is definitely one of them. One of the second things that I'm most proud of is having come up with this coffee cup wrap, right? It's 2 sheets of Byzantine hexagons interwoven between each other. And I thought that was really cool when I came up with that. I've never seen anyone else do it. I'm the only one that's ever done it, as far as I know. But this is a Bubba coffee cup, and the handle broke off. I was trying to incorporate the handle into this, but I think it turned out much better without the handle. So that one was all from me. I didn't come up with the Byzantine weave, but I did incorporate it into a new manner. What time is it? 9 o'clock? Are we going to get done by 10? I guess would be the question. I don't know. How many is that? Yeah, it's just that number. Okay. It's like I probably have 9:02. I have more than an hour's worth of work here, but we'll see how close I can get to finishing. I can't stay up late and stream tonight because I've got work in the morning, so I have to be out of here by 10-ish. So if we're a long way away from finishing, we won't finish. But if we're close, probably just wrap it up. I would love to finish this tonight. I want this project done and out of the way. There are other projects to get to, and I need the space, right? I left this here because it's 30 pounds, and I didn't want to move it because I was being lazy. So when am I making a chainmail beard? I don't know. I'll have to think about that and figure out how to make one, how I want to make one. I've never given it any thought. But it would be funny to have, you know, just a bunch of chainmail hanging down. And you can use it multiple times. If you want to be a wizard at the Ren Fair, or Santa Claus off to deliver rings to prospective chainmail artists. I did. How you doing, Corey? This is all done. All 32 pounds of it. Just got to finish up the display and move it back over off my desk because it is in the way. Yeah, you want to see it up close? See if I can pick this thing up. I ever going to eat the hat? Isn't there like an I'll eat my hat? You know, if that kid didn't steal that bread, I'll eat my hat kind of saying. No, I tend to only eat food. That's sick. Thank you. It's like I've no desire to eat one of these cubes. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I finished up the cube 2 months ago. At the beginning of September sometime. And then I had a chunk of this cube that I'm working on here done. And I've got this and bronze and stainless cube that I'm working on. And then I'm done with cubes for a while. I am all cubed out. It's going to be a while before I make another one. So I'm looking forward to taking a break from this and working on some other projects. As well, I like cubes. Doing the same weave over and over and over again. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. But doing the same weave and making the same projects over and over and over again are the big reason why I don't vend. I'm not a vendor anywhere. I don't want to make the same stuff. Like, when you're vending, you got to be on top of your game, and you got to figure out what sells the best to what markets and make those things. And there's not a lot of time for experimentation or coming up with your own stuff or just working on fun projects. What would you sell something like that for? I would expect a shit ton of labor you put in. I'm hoping... Okay, so my goal is to make 10 to 15 large sculptures like that, right? And I have about 6 ideas right now. So I need to come up with 9 to 14 more. Or no, I have 6 ideas, so however many that is. 8 to 9 more ideas. Right? And then I will try to make all these sculptures so that I have 10 to 15 at least. Hello, Laura. How you doing? And then once all of them are done, I will take them to a metal art gallery somewhere or an art gallery and try and see if they want to put them on exhibit and make some money. So at an exhibit, I would hope that something like this cube would go for something around 12,000. Right? Deadpool Scan, how you doing? Doing good. Hope you're well. I'm doing great. Making some chainmail, finishing up a project, and having good conversation. So, I need to make 10 to 15 projects. And I need to do about 10 grand per project, right? Maybe some smaller ones, maybe some larger ones, you know, I don't know. But I plan for them to be mostly fairly large, fairly labor intensive, 100% unique, and I did the math last night on stream, and it's like, it's probably not monetarily worth it to try and do this, which is why when people are making chainmail, they tend to vend. Will I promote the gallery on TikTok? Yeah. Absolutely. You're live, Man Nice Fire? Okay, had a chat with your spirit brother. Deadpool Scan, where are you? Are you like in the woods? What are you doing? And I hope to like live stream the exhibit and stuff, make videos of it. We will see what happens. I've never done anything like this before. I'm not privy to the art world very much. I just know that what's his name? I don't know his name. There was someone who is alive who just sold a sculpture for $42,000, and while I am not that person, you know, maybe one day my work will be recognized really well. And might need some advice. You want to get some rings yourself? Have an old project you want to duplicate? You're in Minnesota, 80-degree day. Yeah, it's unseasonably warm day. Your bud in Alaska's in the woods for sure. Yeah, so any questions you have, you can either ask them here or message me later. Yeah, I want to make large chainmail sculptures similar to this cube. All of them will be very heavy. I don't know how many rings it's going to take to make each one. But I would like, you know, to sell my work as an artist. And if it more than pays for itself, great. If not, you know, I'm in trouble. It will have been a fun experience. And if it doesn't work out at all, right, then my son will inherit a lot of really heavy chainmail items, and that's all I'll leave him. Is that your biggest sculpture? It's not my only sculpture, but it is my largest, yeah. I started playing with the whole sculptural application of chainmail this past year. I have a couple smaller ones that are, I wouldn't really call them sculptures, they're just kind of conflagrations of chainmail. They're kind of cool. They're like, I did a sculpture of my logo. That one came out kind of okay. And then I did another one out of brass and bronze, and it's kind of weird looking, but it came out. Necklaces for everyone to hang hangers off of, yeah. So it is my first and only sculpture I plan to put up for sale. I have many others that I plan to make, and we'll see how it goes. None of it's going to be anytime soon because I have a backlog of work that I need to get through. So once I'm mostly caught up with that, then we'll start looking at what big projects I need to make, how to make them. And I'm thinking about this stuff pretty much all the time. So, like, how would I approach making different things with chainmail? Alright. Where do you get your rings? So these were from a friend of mine. And I traded him a smaller cube for the rings to make this cube. Right? Trying to think here. I've ordered from... Most of my rings are from the Ring Lord, right? Like, all of these were from the Ring Lord. I have ordered from chain-reaction.ca. And I think that's... Oh, and Joshua DiLiberto for, like, jewelry pieces like this. I ordered all the stainless from joshuadiliberto.com. Right? And there are, if you look in my link tree, the second link is the Mailworks app. And in there is a list of suppliers. And there's 15 or 16 different suppliers. Finally, someone doing real art, not making Pokemon card. I can't stand the Pokemon card stuff. How long have I been working on this piece? I probably have 120 hours into it so far. I'm almost done. The vest took me about 3 years. I wasn't working on it straight through that time, but I took a lot of breaks over the course of 3 years. I got it done, and then it took me longer to finish up all the lacing connecting the chainmail to the vest, but the bulk of it was done within about 3 years, give or take. Okay, if you want to get started, there is the way I recommend people get started is with the Chainmail Joe beginner kit. If you go into my link tree, the first link is a shop. It's an Amazon affiliate shop, and one of the items is in there is the Chainmail Joe beginner kit, and that is it's a box beautifully decorated in a chainmail print, and you open it up and there's multiple bright aluminum ring sizes in there, and a tutorial booklet that'll tell you all the weaves you can make with those ring sizes, or some common weaves you can make with those ring sizes, right? And you can add pliers. That's an option. You don't have to have fancy Xuron pliers like I have. You can go to the junk drawer and get some pliers from around your house, okay? But having fancy pliers for chainmail really helps. And so that's my recommendation, is to start with the beginner kit from Chainmail Joe. And if you go to the second link in my link tree, that's the Mailworks app. You don't have to download anything. It just opens up, and it's all the resources I wished I would have had when I first got started. You can find all the suppliers I'm aware of, where to find tutorials, tool recommendations, where to find other chainmail artists, and then there's a Discord in there as well if you want to join and have more questions. All right? You're very welcome. Can you ask how much chain a beginner would need for a large male coif? If you do 16 gauge 1/4 inch rings, you're going to need 5,000 rings. I'm going to throw that guess out there if you're doing European 4-in-1. How you doing, Mari? That is a guess. Somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 for a headpiece. I know mine is made from a smaller ring size and uses almost double that, but 16 gauge 1/4 inch rings. You know, I mean, you can put as many rings into a piece as you want. It just depends on the ring size. So if you know what you're working with, I can probably provide a better estimate. And who knows if I'm right. It's, I took a guess at how many rings were in this cube the other day. I was off by half. So, the Mailworks app in my link tree, I do plan on adding more stuff to it. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and do computer work. My time is pretty limited anymore, but once I get into the swing of things at work, hopefully I'll have some more time to sit down and get some computer work done. You're good. You're completely new. You've done some wire wrap. It's for hubby. Wish you luck. Hey, yeah, good luck. If you need any help, I'm usually here most nights of the week, hanging out, making chainmail, and I am a... feel free to use me as a resource. I will help in any way I can. Damn, that's satisfying. That's right. Dave, how you doing? You're very welcome. And same thing I said to Corey, right? If you go to my link tree and open up the second link, that's the Mailworks app, and in there are all the resources I wished I would have had when I got started. And I made it so that people could easily get started in making chainmail. It's like there's more resources out there. I got to add them. There's a couple tools I want to add, and it all just takes time and effort. And I will get to it. And I will make new prints for my website so that you can have more awesome chainmail themed apparel and accessories. I've got a lot on the website now. I'm just going to make more stuff. What am I making right now? Phil, how you doing? I am working on a moderately sized chainmail jelly cube. We're nearing the end here, but it's just a big cube made of rings. It's fun to fidget with and look at and play with. It's hefty and tactile and just a fun project. This is going to replace my rubber band ball over at my bar. So I have a rubber band ball that is falling apart, and this is almost the same size. I don't have any more rubber bands. I don't have access to more free ones. I can always go to the store and buy more, but I'm not going to do that for a rubber band ball. I'm somewhere around 120 hours right now, all said and done. Took me longer than I expected, but there's 18,000 plus rings in it. So that has a tendency to take time. And I was making another cube while I was making this cube, and I've been switching back and forth, and I ran out of rings for my other cube, this one. I ordered more. They'll be on the way probably tomorrow, but we'll finish that one up this weekend, hopefully. This one, time is 9:23. Oh, we're going to cut it close. It's going to be very close. What size rings am I using for this? Charlie, how you doing? Do you have enough rings to finish it? Hey, Melissa. I think so. Let's see here. Those are just bits. Okay, so I have this many rings left. I don't know if that's enough. Doesn't look. It's close, right? And I'm trying to avoid using rings. I have another pile over here. These have nicks and have like sharp edges, and I don't want to. I'm trying to avoid using those. And then I have a whole pile of some of those sharp rings, some with nicks, and that I can use to finish it. So these rings are 16 gauge standard wire gauge 11/64 inner diameter. What you're looking for is a ring that has an aspect ratio of 2.55 to 2.75. 2.55 is tighter, 2.75 is a looser cube. So it's really the aspect ratio that you're looking for. These are 2.6. And it gives a nice jelly cube. So, but if you use like more than 2.75, you get really sloppy cubes that don't want to hold their shape. Right? It's like they're cubes kind of, but they're more jelly than cube. Took up some extra rings I had laying around, so I wasn't complaining. So I do think I have enough rings to finish, and if not, I'll pour through this pile and add some rings. But I think I have enough here. We'll have some left over. Not many, but some. So what is this? It's 29 plus 15 is 44, 88, 102. We need about 160 rings. We might have that here. Make a Minecraft jelly woman. I know someone who's working on, what are they called? The green guys in Minecraft? Do they explode? I think they explode. Is it a creeper? I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with the Minecraft characters. My son knows them all. And we only ever played on creative mode. So I never got a lot of experience on survival. But a friend of mine is making the Minecraft, I think it's a creeper, out of anodized aluminum rings. Do your tools make tooling marks? Sometimes. Most of the time, no. But if you slip on a ring, you can definitely mar it up a little bit. These don't have any teeth. Right? So they don't mar them up too bad. You might catch the edge sometime. If you use pliers that have, like I used these for a long time. These have teeth. Right? These will mar up your rings. Especially if you're not careful. But with base metals like this is aluminum that I'm working on, I'm not particularly concerned about it. I'd be more concerned if there was, if these were anodized rings. Is this wedding attire? If I'd worn this to my wedding, I don't think she would have ever married me. But no, someone was asking about the projects I'm the most proud of, and my vest is a very comfortable. Oh, do I make wedding attire? I've seen one person make a chainmail suit, and that's been it. That's been the only one, and it was a suit jacket. So I wouldn't have the first clue how to go about making one of those, but yeah. Someone made an entire Superman outfit, and I believe that they did the cape. But it was on a mannequin and could not be removed. I was like, it was very cool. But it was never going to leave the mannequin, so cape sounds fun. A chainmail cape would be cool. I've seen two. Someone fairly new to chainmail, like started last year, made herself a very large cape with some flame cross inlays. Maybe they were just red inlays. Or red crosses. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look at it. But made herself a full-length cape out of bright aluminum and anodized aluminum. Looked really good. How long would it take an inexperienced person to get to a moderate skill level at this art form? The learning curve is fairly steep for a short period of time. You can get competent within a month and making professional pieces within 2 months, right? And it will take you. I can't speak from anyone else's perspective. It took me 28 years to get to this level. Saw the mannequin to pieces, yeah. Right on, dude. I like your patience and passion. Thank you, Alan. And if you are looking to get started, I've had a few discussions tonight trying to help people out, get them where they need to go. I need some water. But it does not take long to learn to close a ring. And several beginner weaves are very friendly, shall we say. There are more complex weaves that take longer to learn. There's many weaves I don't know, right? Like, I've never done pencil weave. I've only ever attempted to make Moorish rose. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff I've never done, right? You're a visual artist. You make drawings that take a long time and patience, just like me. Yeah, I can't draw, so I do this. Natural inclination to create stuff, and this just happens to be something that I've done long enough that I turned out pretty okay at it. Like, let me tell you how bad my drawing is, okay? You know those Post-it note cartoons that people would draw? Where it would just be like a stick man jumping up and down? I've never successfully managed to draw one of those. That's how bad my drawing is. You see the love for sure. Alright, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. What is it for? Accuracy. How you doing? It's for fun. It's, you know, a fidget toy, paperweight, something you can, you know, toss at someone really hard if they're mouthing off or whatever. Yeah, like a fidget toy. It's going to go over on my bar to replace a rubber band ball that's falling apart over there, and it's just for whenever people visit, they can fidget with it as they imbibe. There are... So if you use a ring with a slightly... Well, like this, right? Like this cube is fairly rigid, but you can still build up on it, right? This is several rows wide. I could keep going. So there is a guy that did some chainmail castles out of using this weave, and I believe the website was chainmailbasket.com, but I think they got absorbed by someone. I don't remember, and you can go check out their stuff. It's a pretty old website. I'm not even sure if it exists anymore. Oh, excuse me. Ooh. But he's got some very cool pieces on there. Many of them are baskets. So you can make little buildings out of this weave, but it wasn't until I think when I spoke to someone in the know, they said it was 2017 when a guy named Steven showed up to a meetup with other chainmail artists, and he had one of these cubes that he had made, and then everyone went crazy over them and started making them, and they're fun. What weave is this? Sandy. This is called Japanese Foreign One, based off of historical Japanese chainmail, and there's the fact that there's 4 rings going through each ring, and it's layers of it. Intersposed. Is that a word? Did I just make that up? It's layers of it stacked on top of each other, basically. So, what's the one to my left? My left is my right here. This is a 30-pound chainmail sculpture that I did. And you can see the 4 ball bearings right there. There's 2 on each side. I used small rings to make big rings and then wove them all together into a cube. And that is part of a sculptural project that I'm working on. I'm a long way from being done, but I'm getting there. Or I will get there one day. That's the first one of many. So right now it's just a huge paperweight. I got to finish the display for it, and then it will be an art piece. So it's like I tried an original display from galvanized pipe. I was going to suspend that cube. That did not work. And so I'm going to use a different pipe display. Come on. And just raise it up off the surface of whatever it's on. So that is the difference between a paperweight and art, is how it's displayed. I don't know if that's true. It sounds true. Did it not work because it was too heavy? Yeah, it was the cable that I tried to suspend it from was got chewed up in the process of me trying to suspend it. The pipes were not cooperating. And in order for me to get the cable locked into place, I could not get it tight enough. And it just became a mess. So, after a day of working on it, I quit. I said, screw it, I'll find some other way to display it. And next time, I will come up with an idea and the display at the same time. Right? Yeah, like using chain to begin with. I could have made a welded chain that would have been easier and not as easy to chew up as the cable was. But I wasn't really thinking. The display, thinking about the display came about halfway through building the cube. And so I was able to loop a cable through the center of this piece, and I tried to suspend it, and it just didn't work out. So it is what it is. I will find another way to make it work. Someone was asking me if I could use like really powerful magnets to levitate it. I don't think it can be done. It's stainless. It's really not all that magnetic to begin with. But that would be cool. So maybe with really powerful magnets, you can figure out a way to levitate a chainmail object. And then lighting. Many people suggested I should have put some kind of light inside of it. And it's like, that's another thing that I didn't think about until after I was already like very far along in the project. So when other pieces, when I get to work on them, I will definitely think about lighting and display first before I even begin the piece. Right? So with lighting, going to have to make it so that you can change whatever bulb you're using, or LED, whatever. Honestly, it might be better with the light coming down on it. It might. I don't know. It's like not something I've gotten to play with. And I'm not an expert when it comes to displaying things or light work or any of that. So it's an avenue that I'll have to study up on for my next piece. it's all, I'm sure that if you go and take some kind of professional art class or something, which I've never had. I've had an art history course or class in college. That was my favorite class. The teacher was very awesome. But I've never taken any kind of professional art class. And I'm sure that displaying your piece, your work, is something they discuss, or something that is brought up much more frequently than it is here in my basement with just me sitting by myself. Honestly, I had thought of the project, and how to display it did not even become a thought process until halfway through. You're also learning to make chainmail jewelry? Right on. Very cool. How long have you been doing that? I like making chainmail jewelry. I like making chainmail in general. It's a lot of fun. You can make some really cool stuff with it. Where did those rings go that I had? There they are. That is my pile of rejects that I will only use in case of emergency. But I think we're going to be okay. You've been making it about 17 years? Very cool. It's like I started making chainmail 28 years ago. And I did not get very far in the first 8 years. And then in 2004, 2005, I discovered the Ring Lord and the Ring Lord Forum, and I learned a whole lot more, and more resources were available, and I absorbed everything I could, and I made a whole bunch of stuff. And then I've been doing this seriously probably for the last 15 years. You're 32 and started at 16? Right on. It's like once I found chainmail ring manufacturers, that was it for me. I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm going to do this all day, every day for the rest of my life. We are cutting it close here. So well, words are hard. If you've been doing it for 17 years, you've made a lot of stuff. You know what you're talking about. Oh, wrong pile. It's like, I like to meet other chainmail artists. I know many of them. And I like to help new people get started on the road to having a chainmail addiction. So that's mostly why I'm here. I also design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, like hoodies and leggings and coffee cups and stuff like that. So selling that stuff is also a reason I'm here, but it's mostly kind of altruistic in that I do want new people to get into the hobby. Right? You started from scratch with 16 gauge galvanized steel. I too started with galvanized steel. I use 14 gauge galvanized steel fence wire from like Home Depot or something. And it worked. I don't recommend galvanized steel for anything personally. It stinks. But it's a good starter material. You can coil it and hand cut it. Fairly easy to get started with that. But there are so many other materials available that you definitely don't have to stick with it. Your biggest issue is not knowing how to price the work. I think that's most people's stuff. I mean, or one of most people's issues, right? And my thoughts on pricing are, as someone who is selling something, you say you're